today, Saul, we want to learn whose soul, what soul he think, how he act, what is his strategy, what's his vision, what is his philosophy, because our audience from everywhere, they need to know exactly how Saul he think and he act when it comes especially to financial planning.
Great. Well, that's wonderful. I think that one, I want to thank Jod and you, whoever put these questions together. They're very good questions. And I think the flow of it would be very nice. But before getting into that, I think it's important for people that maybe don't know me, maybe perhaps have heard of me, maybe have seen YouTube, maybe have seen name cards, but the core value that goes beyond the name itself, what your beliefs are. And I think maybe in setting that stage, it tells what your beliefs are that keeps you driving and moving forward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people have name cards, you know, you're so anxious to reorder name cards because you ran out of cards, but it doesn't really talk about who you really are and what your beliefs are. Today, I don't have name cards.
You don't need.
This is exactly what we are interested in exploring together, Saul. I've been always impressed by a title of a book. It's called The Naked Leader. You know, when we remove the masks, when we remove the titles, when we remove everything, what stays under the skin of the person? And this is exactly what we would like to hear from you today.
Okay,
and if you were to define, I don't like the word define, but if you were to define yourself or introduce yourself without any name tags, who is Saul?
I am a man that have core value and is always outward thinking, not inward thinking. Outward thinking, thinking about others. Obviously, first of all, my family. How I can prepare for them, how I can provide a level of protection over them as a leader in my home, as a father, as a husband, now as a grandfather. The purpose of doing that in all of us, given my age, almost soon to be 82 years old,
wow,
I have lived longer than I'm going to live. So how this earthly body that I have is going to fade away. But what is eternal is your spirit. And so the important part of all of that is that, number one, you want your spirit to live on, influence, getting people in a situation that they can remember the core value that was taught to them, particularly my family. Then beyond that, how big is your household? Because there's also your spiritual family. And so the importance of me, when you take away the name card and all the other different things that describe what you do, who you are, it still comes back to what your beliefs are. Do you want to just be a seed in yourself? Or do you really want to die to that and let it germinate in the earth that give life to so many others? Because people are watching and they need someone that they can follow. They believe someone who is genuine. They believe in someone who have a lifetime of experience and willing to share, not just the good things, but all the other different things that allowed you to never give up. Because if all you see is perfection, then the people that's following you won't get the opportunity to want to walk in your footsteps because they may say, well, I messed up, or I did some things that aborted what I was trying to do. And I feel so bad about it. So you're operating guilt and shame. But when you can see an individual who is willing to be transparent, the most key part that when you strip everything away, that person never quit. He never gave up. He kept moving forward. So that's the core value that I believe is the most important thing, because I care about others. The inward part, or how I'm going to take care of myself, how I'm going to earn a certain amount of money, that will come when you take care of other people's needs. That will come when you have a big picture. And the thing that I think my takeaway that gives me a whole lot of joy when I think of the people that I have a up close relationship with, that's well in the excess of over 100. And then I think of my biological, our daughter, Cynthia, and I think of our granddaughter, Kristen. That's 3 generations that want to walk down that path road that my wife and I have sacrificed, and think in terms of how can my core value and my wife value that we have a spirit of unity going in the same direction. No one is going south, the other going east, one going west. We're all going in the same direction.
Oh,
Amazing.
Sol, amazing. By the way, to everyone, they will listen to this podcast. This is the first podcast of the BLIS Global, and we insist to make it with the one and only, to start our BLIS podcast with the one and only Sol Hicks. And sure, Sol, you should know that it will not be the first and the only podcast with you, because there will be a lot of podcasts with you, and in every podcast we will go and go deep inside in every points, from practical points, skills, knowledge, ideas, motivation. Today we want to know, as Jade he start to know exactly who's Sol and what his philosophy. And do you want me, Jad, to take the second question?
Please.
Yeah. So, why financial planning is important in your opinion?
The way that I think of why it's important, financial planning, is it's like going into a dog room and you turn the light on. What you get from that is peace, clarity. You can't do that in a dog room. So financial planning to me is essential, because it helps people to build wealth, help people to protect their families, help people to serve their communities and generations to come.
Lovely. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a question as well. We meet a lot of people who don't believe in planning. What would you tell them?
Well, I say this with a great deal of love. And it's also my belief. I believe that people that do not plan, they plan to fail. Yeah. And when I think of myself, I walked 4 miles every day, every night, with no car, no telephone, and no college degree. But what helped me, honestly, was a willingness to never quit, that I think that made the difference in why I kept going in spite of the doubt that others had about me. And so being able to do those things, I believe made a big difference in quitting before you had established credibility. before you had established integrity, because if you quit too soon, it's almost like a plant you put in the ground is not gone full because you pull it up before it's time. And so this is honestly how I feel that the willingness, but I think that in many ways, I recognize that my calling was to serve. I recognize when I had the tragic, untimely death of my brother with two small children. And so that calling that was placed on my life, I recognized the importance of it. And it kept me driving because of my core belief that the miracle of life insurance, what allows you to create with discounted dollars, because some of us maybe didn't have the forefathers that had the means, didn't have the opportunities. And if you're trying to save to create things that's important to you and important to your family, but we don't really have a clear picture when that time is going to come when your lights go out. And so that gives me that level of importance in terms of how I can, in the belief that when I came into the industry 55 years ago,
55.
it became more than just security. It became a calling that was on my life. It became a recognizing the gift that I was born with. And the more and more I operate in that gift, it gave people hope, because I always looked at do it with integrity. I always looked at it, the real big picture. And I kind of believe in many ways, this is what inspired and motivated our daughter, Cynthia, to walk in that footsteps, because they saw I did not compromise on that. And then our granddaughter, who wanted to be a part of Hicks Global because of the way that I led by example.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. So if you go back in time, would you plan more or less, and why?
If I had to go back, excuse me, I would go with the same intensity that I have today. The same intensity. But I will start teaching others about planning even earlier. Because to me, when we think of legacy, it's not just what you build, but it's what you pass on.
Okay.
And so to be able to do that is to be able to start teaching early. I've gone to grade school. I've gone to high school. I've gone to the colleges and spoke about financial literacy. Wow. And the importance of the saving. So it's the same amount of intensity. It's something that allowed me to stay inspired, but I don't want it to die with me. I want to multiply myself so that others can walk in that footstep. So it'd be the same amount of intensity, because without that, it's just information. It's not life-changing. And so it's the same intensity, it's the same joy, and it comes out of me because of my belief.
Lovely. So I have a curious question. When you started, if you remember the very first day or the very first decision when you entered the profession, what was the point or the trigger that made you enter the profession? And at the same time, after years of success, what made you stay?
Again, I think that what made me stay, the more you understand purpose and meaning, and there are a lot of people in search of that.
Yeah.
They in search of, why am I here? Why was I born? I'm grateful that I had and was given an opportunity. It wasn't easy, but I really didn't care, because the thing that I talk about a great deal, your purpose must always be greater than your pain.
Yeah.
And so if your pain is greater than your purpose, there are many opportunities, especially when you're a talented person. I try this. If it doesn't work, I can always do X, Y, Z. But for me, I was all in, not half in, not half out. I was all the way in. The more you start doing that, then it becomes, I phrase this as a state of service rather than an act of service. Because the act of service is you do me and I do you. So I want to have the equal value. If I do something for you, I'm expecting a return. I'm expecting that if I drive across town in traffic and I come to see you and give you information, and you decide and appreciate the information, but you do business with a cousin or you do business with someone else or a friend, that is an act of service. But on the other hand, where you make that transformation or who you become, then that's who you are. And you have a level of understanding that I'm going to keep in pursuit of that. I'm going to continue to do good, and my belief of what I'm doing is making a difference. And when you have that, and you don't get tired of doing that or get weary in doing that, and if it's an act of service, you'll get weary, you'll get tired, you'll get frustrated. But who you become, and you don't get weary, in due season. There's a due season in everything. Due season in planting a seed. There's a due season. You don't get watermelons that you're going to plant in the winter. It won't germinate. So in due season, you will and you shall reap what you sow. Not always where you sow, but the principle in life, you will reap what you sow. If I sow goodness, if I sow something that I really believe in and keep doing good and don't get tired because I've been rejected, I've been disappointed, I have become a state of service. That may take time, but you keep moving forward.
So I have a question here. From where you get the power of your belief? From where you got this energy, the power of this belief? Because always you talk about the belief, the belief, the belief. From where you got all this power and energy?
Well, one is my faith, number one. And when I wake up, and I've been doing this as long as I can remember, when I wake up and I open my eyes, I acknowledge that I didn't wake up on my own. That's my belief that I believe. I believe it is the spirit within me that get me up. So I give thanks. I give thanks to a brand new day that I've never seen before. And through that practice, I don't focus on yesterday, failure, disappointment, anger. I got a brand new day. I got a fresh start. It's almost like hitting a reset. And so for that, I give thanks. Then after that, I pray for 5 things every day. Every day I pray for 5 things. First of all, that I pray for is peace. Peace from within. That's really difficult because we hear over the airwaves, we hear on your smartphone, all of the things that can get us distracted, all of the things that can put fear into us. So from my belief that Jesus said, peace I give unto you. I've overcome the world. So that means that is a gift that was given unto me. So first, I thank God for that. Second thing that I pray for is love and compassion for my fellow man. Now, this is my daily routine, how you keep going, if you ask about me and my belief. So I pray to have love and compassion. Many times that's hard. It's hard because it's going to be challenged. So I pray for love and compassion for my fellow man. Even, I think today, anytime that you say yes to one thing, you're saying no to something else. I'm saying yes to this wonderful podcast. I'm saying yes that I have the opportunity to talk about something that I really love, and it giving me the joy of feeling good on the inside that I made a difference. I've taken that and maximized that. So I want to have the love and compassion. And my hope is that this would resonate in the lives of others, that they also have love and compassion. It's called through multiplication. And then the third thing that I pray for every single day, patience. That's difficult because we live in a microwave type situation. If we don't get it right now, we feel it's not meant for us, and we want to give up. The fourth thing, clarity. Just like what we talked about earlier, is that financial planning. It's like going into a dark room. You got to be really careful because you may hurt yourself, you may trip. But when you turn the light on, you got clarity. So I pray, give me clarity of thought. Let me know what I'm doing and why. Give me clarity. We all want clarity, that we can see clearly. And the last thing I pray for, that my belief is that in all your wisdom, get understanding. And so my soon to be 82 years of life, I have clarity of mind. I have peace in spite of some of the things around me, in spite of things going on in the world today. And I have the patience to know this too will pass.
Yeah.
And I also have an understanding about life that every day God has given me an opportunity to do good.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Wow, wow.
Beautiful. Sol, the spiritual side with you is a big thing. I think this needs not only a podcast, it needs much bigger than that to dig deep. And it's very insightful to see, because many people tend to confuse when people succeed. They feel that like business is business, and personal life is personal life, and spiritual life. They don't see the whole picture of the values and the integration between the personal and the business life. And this is something we definitely, you're not only a speaker, and that you're a fountain of information when it comes to to this, and inspiration for all of us. We're
Exactly.
only halfway there, but
Yeah.
you are really a true inspiration for us. But
Thank
I
you.
have a technical question for the people who are looking at, like us, we are in the mid of the journey. And when it comes to dealing with money and financial planning, so many people think, okay, let me put all my money in real estate, let me put all my money in the stocks, let me put all my money in the business. And there are a lot of gurus. And so let's forget about the gurus and the theories. In your opinion, what is the best percentage allocation between cash, real estate, business, stocks, or other types of portfolio that somebody should have, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think that everyone needs a different, but for me, I believe in stewardship and balance.
Mhm.
And I believe, number one, we're entrusted, whatever is in our hand, whatever's been given unto us, we're entrusted with that. So we're supposed to be a good steward over that. I believe that the more that you're a good steward over that which has been given unto you, the more comes to you. And then have the balance. I think balance is extremely important. But I also believe in liquidity, one, perhaps for emergency. There must always be some liquid cash. It also can be for opportunities that will come your way. So that balance allows me, because you can abort something that you have for long range planning if you don't have liquid. If there are opportunities that come your way, you put it into long term where you abort maybe something that was going to ultimately give you the kind of result that you're happy with. So I think of liquidity. The second thing that I think of when I think of real estate, I think of legacy. I think the legacy for the real estate to pass on to your family. And then I believe the business give you purpose. So it's all kind of the balance side of that. And then when I think of stocks, I think of growth. I think of long term. So one, stewardship. Two, balance. Three, have liquidity. So it's almost like having a pie or a cake.
Yeah.
That you do it in the different slices and you identify what is short range, what is medium range, what is long range. You don't eat the whole pie all at one time. And so that's the balance that I try to seek. But everyone needs a different, but this is how I approach it and how I've approached it as long as I've been an adult, to look at things differently. It doesn't make it right or wrong, but this is how, from my perspective, how I try to divide it into and have balance, but always to make sure there's good stewardship over what's been given unto you.
Excellent, excellent. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
On a business level, how much delegation and automation play a part in your business model?
I think that delegation is extremely important because what it does, it multiply your mission. If you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to make a difference, then you take the talent and the ability that's around you and you delegate. In other words, you're not multiplying your efforts. I mean, you're not dividing your efforts, you're multiplying your efforts. That's through delegation, and that's through people. You know, automation work while you're sleeping, but people that you invest in, then through that, that's sustainable, that's long lasting. As long as the people that you're investing in, you got one single mind and you're taking each talent, each ability that they all carry, and you're using that to the best advantage. So delegation is extremely important. No one person is self-made if you're going to multiply the efforts and multiply the mission.
Excellent, excellent.
Wow.
So when it comes to succession planning, suppose today you want to give the business forward to the next generation. What would you advise small to medium enterprises from your experience, and whether from your own business or from the businesses that you've dealt with, what should people do to keep their business alive?
Well, I don't think legacy happened by accident. It's identify. It also is prepare and empower those for the next generation. It's an interesting verse in my regular meditation that I have, there are 66 books in the Bible. And I began the first of the year, and it's divided into daily reading, daily meditation. And there's one thing that stood out to me. And it says something like this. It's actually in the book of Judges. And for those that read the Bible or you want to look, it's Judges 2:10. And it says, another generation arose, and they were not taught by the previous generation, and they worship Baal, worldly views. And so I think the important part of that is that through succession, you have to teach, you have to empower, and that becomes the legacy. And the evidence of that is our daughter and our granddaughter, 3 generations, through the teaching. And because they don't just carry my name, they carry my mission.
Wow. Sol, always you mention in your speech, in your discussion. I still remember the first time you came to Beirut. We had a dinner in the mountain, and we had a long discussion at night. And always you mentioned the Bible, and always you mention advice, stories from the Bible, words, phrases. So how much the Bible play a role in your life and in your profession?
It's my manual. Again, it's through the daily reading, the meditation. In the book of Romans, the 15th chapter and the 4th verse, it really resonated with me because even that there are 2 things that when you're reading for exercise, which is important, it becomes a habit. And that's called, in the Greek word, it's called logos. Logos, your belief in the written word, that through exercise, you read it, but spirits cannot communicate in the physical realm. So since we, again, I'm speaking of my belief, we're mind, body, and spirit. They all go together. So I read it for exercise, the logos word. The rhema word becomes a power. When you are reading through exercise and you are faced with a situation, and we all come to that place, we just simply don't know what to do. So through the exercise of that, through your spirit, connecting with the spirit, then you get the answers that you need. That's the logo. So when I read the book of Romans, it says, for whatsoever. What is whatsoever? Whatsoever. Whatsoever things that was written aforetime. Here is the goodness. Here is the grace. It was written, number 1, for our learning. We want to learn things. We don't want to continue to make the same mistakes in life. Just repeat. So for whatsoever things that was written aforetime, number 1, it was written for our learning. Well, that's the exercise that we're going through challenges in life, just simply don't know what to do. So it says through the grace, it was given unto us. And it says that, an example of that, if I can go back in the earlier days when our firstborn Cynthia was born, when she uttered out a sound, it wasn't real clear, but we interpreted it saying, I was saying daddy, but my wife said, no, she's saying mommy. And whatever, we'll get on the phone and we'll talk. She would talk about, she made a sound. And she was saying she was calling mommy, mama, mama. And I was saying, calling daddy, daddy, daddy. But it was cute. But if we fast forward that 5-10 years later, and she's still murmuring and not making sound that's understandable, we will have some concern. So we then, the learning part, the growth part, when I was a child, I spoke as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things and thought as a man. That through patience, it's an interesting word because in the Greek, it stands for hypomono. The definition of that, I would abide under the tent. What was given unto me, the dreams that I had, the excitement that came with the dream. I'm going to do big things, but I have to have patience. I have to hypomono. I have to stay under the tent of protection until the manifestation take place. So for whatsoever things are written aforetime, written for our learning, that through patience, drawn from the scriptures, which simply means that's the manual, that's the 66 books, in order to give us hope. We all want to live in a state of hope, not a state of hopelessness. And so that's where that belief comes in through the meditation. It may not be for me right now, but when the time comes, I need an answer. It can communicate to me, wow, I got the answer. But I acknowledge the greater one that lives on the inside of me.
Wow, wow.
So when you look at retirement, for you, and I know it's a tough question for you because we kind of have the answer.
Yeah.
but
no retirement.
I'm probably the wrong person to talk about retirement because that's not my 66 books that I just told you. That's not in the Bible about retirement. they continue until they're called home. But I understand what you're saying.
For you, for people that are listening to us, for some of them, it's a goal. For some people, it's a curse. For you, is it a goal, a curse, or not even part of the plan? How do you look at retirement?
Retirement for me is not a finish line. It's a pivot. And it really is when my voice gets louder, when my influence go deeper, and my focus shift from giving back to lifting others up. And it's given me a difference between I retired, which means I have security. I have a check from the company I retired from for the rest of my natural life. When I leave this world, I pray to God my wife will still be a survivor. She received 1/2 of the pension for the rest of her life. So it gives me security, but it's not fulfilling. Fulfillment comes from my life work and the spirit of generosity that I want to speak to others. Because there is a difference between being ignorant and being a fool. Being ignorant means you just don't know things you can be taught. People want to sit at the feet of wisdom to learn and to grow. If you're a fool, as the Bible describes it, you're stubborn. You're just going to do it your way regardless. I think the song, which is a great song, I used to dance by it in the earlier days. But to live your life in this particular way, I'm not so sure it's the proper way. Again, just my belief. And the song was, I did it my way.
and you are doing it.
Yeah. And so the idea of that is that I still ever learning. And to have this level of security is important. But now, as soon as 82 years old, I think what it does for me, I don't think I serve an early stage dementia because I'm still exercising my brain. I'm still taking something I have learned for 55 years and 82 years on this earth, I'm able to teach, I'm able to inspire, I'm able to empower.
Wow. Wow, wow. Sol, 55 years in your profession, how much do you believe collaboration is essential between different types of experts? So,
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Finish your
yeah,
thought.
so do you see it important? How do you believe in the collaboration?
Well, I think it's essential. I really, no one builds something alone because it's the different ideas, maybe kind of funny. My granddaughter, Kristen, oftentimes corrected me. And she would correct me the way I would say the X generation and how you communicate. And she's an expert on the social media and all the other different things. And I grew up thinking, pound on my phone, pound. And her correction, Grandpa, it's not pound, it's hashtag. So I think, all of that collaboration among expert and collaboration, that allows you to serve your clients with excellence, not just one thought, it's not just one idea. And so you're collaborating with others, and that's where growth comes in.
Great.
Great.
In that perspective, Saul, do you have any, on top of your mind, any success story when it comes to strategic collaboration, and anything you learned from it that you can share from us, you can share with us? And
Yes, a handshake doesn't necessarily mean a partnership.
yeah.
And what I mean by that, I went through a season, great ideas, smart person, did not have my core value. And I lost. I lost financially. I lost self-confidence. I went through a season of distrust. And so the most important thing, that is a line up with your core value. If it does not, it may mean the handshake that you get is not a real true partnership. And so you have to kind of be careful. What are your core values? You can then multiply through y'all having the same core value, having integrity, looking at the big picture rather than a quick fix. And so that was some of the things that I've learned, with that experience. I didn't park my car there and stayed there. Again, I learned. And so now when I think of BLIS, the joy that I get from BLIS is that we had the same core value: serving people, creating legacies. That allowed me to align my core value up with BLIS and giving me the opportunity to now, it's almost similar to the words of Jesus when he said to his disciples, he said, when I leave and through the teaching, greater works that you will do. I didn't understand that initially, because when he came as an earthly man, he was limited by going to one village to the next. But I understood as I matured that how the internet, how we today, you in Lebanon, I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and how we're able to communicate live. It's the greater works that we would do through the satellites. And so through the core value that allowed me to connect with you and Najee, the brain of this, the visionary, it allowed me to connect with you in a greater work. My voice, my influence now is touching the world.
Wow, man. Well, and this is our honor to have you, our honorary board on BLIS Global. So we're proud to have you. We are honored. And this is a big achievement, I think, and so important for us to have you, Sol, as our honorary board in BLIS Global. And w- w- uh, what's your piece of advice to people who never planned before?
I think the advice that I would give: start small, but start today. You know, I believe in, they say, the power of NOW. It really could stand for no opportunity wasted, because the power is in the now. So start today. You start small. Planning don't require perfection. What it requires is purpose. So I think a small plan with action beat a big dream with none.
Nice. Excellent.
Lovely.
Sol, from the same angle, you know, and especially today with BLIS Global, we are building strategic collaboration between 10 professions. So we're looking at all the financial and business planning experts, whether from insurance, legal, consulting, audit, family offices, and so on and so forth. So sometimes, or I would say most of the times, they are indirectly or directly competing with each others instead of collaborating together. What would be your piece of advice to the experts who never collaborated before and try to do it all by themselves?
Oftentimes maintain, don't put a lid on your own jar. Because when you put a lid on your own jar, you become a prisoner inside of that jar.
Yeah.
So the most important thing to me, let other people stretch you. Let other people serve and scale you, because together you go so much farther. But if you put a lid on your own jar, you stay there, but you're limited. Honestly, you become a prisoner to no new ideas. You kind of like do it your way. So I like the idea of someone stretching my imagination of what is possible. You can only do that when you step outside of that jar.
Great one. So you know that there is different in many countries. We have
Hello? I think we got
I
a
think
little
we had some, we were speaking about underdeveloped countries, so the internet connection is one of the symptoms of that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, so let me continue with the question. So when you think of underdeveloped countries, which are a big part of the world, they lack a lot of strategic planning and long-term vision for growth. What would you advise those countries to do to get started in terms of planning?
I think the first thing you want to do is build with education. I think begin with education. I think that's extremely essential. And then you want to empower local leaders. And then from that, you want to build models that honor both culturally and vision. So we have to understand the culture, and you build models built around it, because one pocket don't always fit all. And then you invest in people. Above all of that, you invest in people. I think that's a real key element. But understanding that it starts with education, because light always overcomes darkness. Education always overcomes ignorance. And the ability to go out and to empower local leaders that are leaders in their own communities, but it starts with education.
Education.
Yes, yes.
If you were, thank you, Sol. Lovely session. I can see it. This is a really lots of learning session. If I can see it, if you were to describe yourself in 3 words
Mm.
that shape you the most, what would they be and why?
Number one, be faith. It starts with faith because that's my anchor in every storm. Is my faith. That's my anchor. Resilience. I believe that, listen, it's almost like a rubber band. You said, I was fired, I was broke, and I was underestimated, but I never quit. And the last thing is legacy. I think everything I do is to bless the next generation.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Wow. Wonderful, Sol. Thank you.
So I have two-in-one questions. Speaking before, because you mentioned twice during the discussion about the leadership. The first question to you, and speaking of the underdeveloped countries, where not only in the underdeveloped countries, but in most, I would say, parts of the world, people lack leadership, and people need to find people to look up to, you know, because we've been driven by sometimes by fake or wrong leaders. And so how would you define leadership? This is one part of the question. And second, how would you see the best allocation as a percentage between motivation versus discipline?
Okay. Motivation gets you started. Discipline gets you there. So I would say from a percentage, perhaps 30% is motivation, 70% is discipline. They're both fueled by vision. So you start with the motivation, but motivation starts on the inside. Where's the passion? What keeps you going? And the more and more you take that, but surgically, you have to take the things that inspire you, and you got to remove that from the inside and put it out in front of you. That's called focus. You go to the right because you got something that keep you from becoming distracted. So I would say that 30% motivation, but the rest of it is discipline.
Lovely. I think we came to the end of this session, and sure there is many sessions coming with Sol, the one and only Sol Hicks. Last word in this session, you want to say it to all our attendees. What do you want to say for everybody, and why you choose and you accept to be our honorary board for BLIS Global?
Well, I thank you so much for that. And this first podcast that I'm doing for BLIS Global, I'm really grateful, number one. And really has been an honor for me to share a few lessons from my journey, lessons that's built on faith, lesson built on perseverance and purpose. My soon to be 82 years, I keep mentioning that, but I've lived a long time. And I come to believe that true success is not about what you have, but what you give. And those that are listening to my voice, and perhaps some maybe even seeing me, and if it inspired you through some of the things that I have shared, I don't want you to just write it down. I want you to live it out. Begin with the plan. Take the first step and remember 3 things, which is my core value. Keep the light on inside of you. Stay inspired. No matter what you're doing, stay inspired. Number 2, use the light around you. Use whatever's in your hand. Use it. And thirdly, keep the light on behind you. Reach back and lift somebody else up. And this is really the way that we're going to change families, the way we're going to change communities, and the way we're going to change nations. And my ending remark is that God bless you, all of you, and may your best days be ahead of you.
Same for you, same for you. And sure, we are going to celebrate your 82 birthday in Cyprus. Even it's late, so be ready for many celebrations starting September. As I know,
Wow,
it's your
thank
birthday.
you.
You're always good. God
Well,
bless you.
thank you so very, very much. It
We thank
really
you.
blessed my heart and lift my spirit up today.
We thank you, Saul. We thank you. We thank all your family, Christian, Cynthia, and everyone, Hicks Global Institute and family. Jay, thank you so much for all the preparation, being here, and stay tuned, everyone. So this is the first podcast of BLIS Global and more to come. God bless you all. Thank you.
God
See you.
bless you. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.